Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are still in Vancouver Commodity TV for Hear You Now. And after the last 2 days, we have been at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. And now we are at the offices of IsoEnergy. And with me here is Craig Parry, the CEO of the company. And we want to get an insight into this lovely uranium explorer.
Hey,
good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Craig, great. And thanks for taking the time that we are here in your offices. IsoEnergy, what is the company about? Maybe you give us a short overview what it is.
Sure, thanks, Jochen. So IsoEnergy, we're a uranium explorer in the Athabasca Basin. Of course, the Athabasca Basin's the world's great uranium province. So we're up there looking for uranium. We're a spin-out of NextGen Energy. So we were founded by NextGen and the team there. Lee Courier, our chairman, is the CEO of NextGen. I'm on the board there. Of course, we made a great discovery there in NextGen.
That was a super success story, I would say.
Yeah, fantastic. One of the great uranium stories of all time, I think. And, we're trying to do it all again in the eastern part of the Athabasca Basin.
Okay, super. So we talk about uranium exploration, of course. We talk about a super technical team you have. You have already like a proof of concept with NextGen. Now you want to do it again. Let's dive into it. The last 6 months, I think, were quite successful. You made a new discovery, right?
We did. Yeah. Look, we're really taking that model, the deposit model that you've got there at Arrow, basement-hosted mineralisation, and deploying that exploration model that we've got there in the eastern half of the Athabasca Basin. We've been very, very fortunate in that we've been able to raise money at a time when many others haven't, and put our foot on a lot of that eastern Athabasca, and that's really our strategy. Put your foot on as much of the eastern Athabasca as you can and explore under the unconformity and look for basement-hosted mineralisation. So, rolling that strategy out in the last couple of years, we acquired a property off Cameco called Larocque East back in May this year. Within 6 weeks, we'd sent a drill rig out there and drilled, I suppose, a discovery hole. We discovered high-grade uranium mineralisation there at our Hurricane Zone, and we're now drilling, following that up as we speak. Our second drill hole is about to get to target depth, probably sometime tonight.
Super. So that means we have quite soon news flow.
That's right, yeah, plenty of good news flow, I think, in the next couple of weeks.
Super.
Of course, the great thing about uranium exploration is that you pretty much know what you've got fairly much instantaneously through scintillometer results. As soon as we've got some good news there or mineralisation, we'll be getting those results out to the market.
Super. As I think Athabasca Basin is quite famous for, let's say, shallow mineralisation. How deep is yours so far, or what you have discovered?
Sure, that's right. Of course, it's a basin. So at the centre of the basin, things are quite deep. At the margins of the basin, some of the deposits outcrop there. We're sort of in a very moderately placed position. The mineralisation we're drilling at the moment is between 3 and 330 metres in depth. So pretty
Super.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sure. Super. Also, I saw something really interesting in your presentation, that you are doing your exploration like with a new approach. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on your methodology or technology you're using.
Sure. For us, I guess it's sort of tried and tested in a way, the processes you go through for uranium exploration. I suppose our properties are characterised primarily by the fact that a lot of drilling has actually been done on those properties in the past. And so, we have a number of what we call walk-up drill targets, things that, mineralised intercepts that we simply have to follow up. But what we're actually doing there is, our head of exploration here, Vice President of Exploration, Steve Blower, led the team that discovered Denison's Griffin deposit, which is another example of these basement-hosted deposits. Arrow is probably the best example, well, it's certainly the best example that's ever been discovered. And that type of mineralisation, sits, the bigger deposits out there at the moment that are being mined by Cameco, Cigar Lake, MacArthur River, of course, which has been recently shut down, they're unconformity-related deposits, so they sit at or in the sandstone above the basement, and of course that sandstone becomes highly altered. It's very incompetent material, so it's very costly to mine that material. At Arrow, we've got a deposit there that sits down in the basement on these graphitic structures. It's structurally controlled mineralisation, and we're using our knowledge of those deposits to go and explore for those types of deposits down the basement there. I guess what we're finding there is that these are the best things to have, the best styles of mineralisation for uranium, because it sits in competent basement rock that's amenable to conventional underground mining, as opposed to this very high-cost mining that you have to do with the unconformity.
Very interesting, super. So I think, you hopefully you will have some more of those good discovery holes, and then you can drill it further out. Drilling costs money, of course. You already said you have done a placement where, nobody got some money, I would call it, And what is now in the bank, and how much do you want to spend this year?
Sure. So that was very pleasant. I suppose that's something that we're very impressed with, is the fact that interest has returned to the sector. So we're a uranium junior. Managing to raise $5.5 million back in December was a tremendous outcome. 1.5 of that, I should say, is hard dollars, of course. $4 million of it is flow-through dollars. So we have to spend that $4 million this year.
That's what we want to see.
That's right. Absolutely. And then look, that's something I think we're probably the rarest of things. A very active uranium junior in this current market. So we'll be, we've got an initial program there, a 10 or 11 hole drill program. We'll do 4,500 metres. That'll cost us about $1.2 million to do. And should we get good results, well, we'll continue to deploy that capital drilling out that hurricane zone and the deposit that comes from that.
Fantastic, great. That seems to me like what Rick Rule said when we have been in London last year. Maybe you remember. You have been with me at the exploration pitch battle, and I found that one sentence Rick Rule said, hey, it's very easy for me. I vote for IsoEnergy because this is where I put my money. And I thought, that's a big sign of confidence if Rick Rule does that.
Yes,
I mean, you have some prominent investors, right?
We do. Look, we're very, very fortunate to enjoy Rick's support. That was great news to hear that. So that's good. He's such a tremendous investor, particularly in the uranium space. He's been so successful. So to have that tick of approval is very, very good. And we've got a number of other large investors. I suppose the biggest thing is that 54% of our stock is owned by NextGen Energy. And NextGen's been such a great supporter. NextGen's got about $110 million in the bank at the moment. It's subscribed for another $1.5 million of stock in the last placement. So having that, big mothership there, the big shareholders, puts us in such a very good position. And then, we've got a number of other very supportive institutional investors as well. CQS out of London is a good example there.
Oh, perfect. Super. Oh, that's sensational. Finally, some thoughts on the uranium market. I mean, last year went up like 45% the price, And I spoke to a lot of also producers from the US here during the last 2 days. And my impression was, things are going the right direction, but maybe this petition 232, this has to be solved, that maybe the utilities come back to the market. What is your take on that? Because with e-mobility, we need more and more power.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, uranium, to some it's a bit of a dirty word. I think to others, and more so, people are coming to appreciate that this is the only way you can get baseload power 24/7. That's essentially carbon free in a clean way. So, the demand profile for uranium is growing very strongly, particularly with China commissioning a new reactor every 8 to 10 weeks. So the demand's growing very strongly, but to my mind, it's very much a supply side story. The market's been in oversupply for a long period of time, really since about 2010, largely because of production coming out of Kazatomprom. Those guys have had to cut their production dramatically. We've seen some very big things happen. Of course, we've seen the closure of McArthur River, Cameco's giant McArthur River mine, the world's biggest mine. So, prices have risen strongly. I think equities haven't quite followed suit in recent times, but we expect that to correct. I would expect that uranium equities will rise pretty strongly. But, uranium price will continue to rise out of the demand that's coming out of China, but those supply side cuts are having a big impact, and that's a fundamental change in the market. We've gone from significant oversupply to dramatic undersupply in the past 6 months.
Yeah, and also they are emptying the storages, I would call it.
Yes,
and you can sell your storage only one time when it's used.
That's true. Exactly. That's right. That's right. The great thing about energy. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Super. Yeah, Greg, thank you very much. That was a very good insight. And it looks like you guys have the right plan. You have a great exploration approach. And I would say surprise us with good results.
Yeah, good on you, Jochen. Thanks very much. We
Thank
will.
you. Fantastic. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was Craig Perry, the CEO of IsoEnergy. And you heard it. The company has a new modern approach to the exploration. First thing. Secondly, they had a very nice discovery hole on one of their projects here. They are now drilling more out, and we expect news quite soon. But also they want to drill a lot more this year. The company is well financed, and with 54% holder NextGen in the back, I would say as the mothership, as Craig said. I think you have a very stable shareholder base. Some institutions are in. Rick Rule is supporting the company. This is for me very important because I think he's one of the biggest supporters of uranium. And when he likes the company, this is a big sign of confidence. I would say check it out. It's worth it. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Vancouver.